and the how the hell do we do it all. Now, here are your hosts, Lisa Lidbag and Angela Sandler.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
And I'm so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you as well. I missed you last
I
week.
missed you too.
I did listen live.
Yay.
And it was great.
Aw,
And I told
thanks.
Brody he did such a great job
did.
talking about the Autism Speaks Gala that's coming up.
You know, that was so on the fly too.
Yeah,
so
no, it was
that
great.
really
It was awesome.
Amazing.
It
yeah.
was great.
You know, it's one thing that we have not worked out yet is what do we do when somebody's late or somebody gets sick that day and can't make it?
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that's a tough one.
We haven't worked that out yet. And
No.
thankfully we, knock on wood, haven't had that issue.
Yeah, luckily we haven't had. Yeah,
Woohoo!
I know. Yay.
But we need to probably think about that.
Probably.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm not telling her story. She approved this before I said it. But Angela just had some massive surgery. So how are you feeling, girl?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
back,
it's
the
kind of
neck's
crazy
okay?
that like you can go in and have your,
Yeah.
disc removed and spinal cord kind of changed
Moved
up and
around.
moved around and then be sitting there, 9 days later
Yeah.
and feeling pretty normal.
And
So
for anybody that's listening, you guys don't know Angela yet, but Angela's like not a person that sits. Well,
I don't sit.
she doesn't sit.
I don't sit.
So having a forced sitting for 9 days,
Yeah.
or laying or not doing things must be torture for you.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Actually,
Okay.
I really thought like it was more of a shock when I first heard it. And they're
Yeah.
like, you can't work out for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
what am I going to do with myself? But now it was weird. I was like more shocked about the diagnosis when it first
Yeah.
happened. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like once I absorbed it,
Mhm.
like day of, like
Mhm.
before I went, I was like, let's go. Like
Yeah.
let's get this done.
Yeah.
I wasn't at all, which
And-
was kind of surprising. I think I
Well,
was just ready to get it over with.
You also had a really good physician, a good surgeon.
Yes, he is
And-
amazing. Dr. Ben Crane.
For anybody who needs back surgery,
Yeah.
Dr. Ben Crane.
Yeah.
Go get him.
Yep.
He'll be thrilled that we mentioned him in this setting, I'm sure.
Not a paid promotion either.
Not a
That's-
paid promotion.
that's-
Exactly.
that's-
Authentic endorsement.
Yes.
That's all you'll get from the co-founders.
Exactly. So
So-
it's great to be back.
And just to remind our listeners, Angela did not have, she had some issues with a, what do you call it?
It was a severe spinal cord compression.
Compression. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that was causing numbness in my hands.
Mhm.
My gait was off. I was like walking and then I'd like shuffle. It's kind of
Mhm.
weird. And then zingers up and down my spine.
So
if that happens, honestly, this is a hot tip. If that's
100%.
happening to you and you go to your doctor and they're like, oh, you need a nerve study. If you're having that many symptoms, don't wait till when the hospital system says they can get you in.
Mhm.
Really fight for it.
Advocate for
because
yourself.
If I wouldn't have, my nerve study was scheduled for April,
Oh, wow.
and if I would have been in some
Waited.
type of accident or gone back to the chiropractor, I would have. I could have been paralyzed.
Right.
So
You could have really
know and
damaged.
trust your body.
Yeah.
Advocate for it.
Trust
So-
your body. Go to your doctor. Don't ignore stuff.
Yeah.
I'm the worst with that. I will ignore everything until it's like literally deliberating.
Yeah.
Not deliberating. Debilitating.
Uh-huh.
I cannot speak today. Oh my. Yeah. Don't wait.
Yeah, it's not worth
not
it. And I
fun.
mean, and it's so true. Like in this day and age, everybody's like, "Oh, it's perimenopause, or
Yeah.
it's menopause,
Yeah.
or you tweaked it, working out and your muscle." But like
We talk
when you
everything
get some
away.
of those other symptoms
Yeah.
that don't have an explanation, push to get seen because
Yep.
it could be a big deal.
Yep.
So
Well, I'm glad to have you back. I
I'm
missed
glad
you.
to be back.
Yay.
Yay! I missed everybody
Yes.
last week.
Well, so we're really excited. We have another guest that I never met and who I just met in the lobby of the studio. And I've been reading and everybody knows I deep dive on all of our guests right before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you do that. She was probably so overwhelmed with my excitement. But her business is really right up my alley. So I'm excited and I hear she has a really good backstory. that I'm really excited to unpack. So I'm going to let Angela introduce our guest.
Yes. So I am so excited to have Whitney Kenter here. Whitney has been someone that we've known peripherally since like 2017, I
know.
think,
It's been a
when
while.
she used to run the House of Genius program in the startup sector, and just kind of stayed in touch and have run into each other periodically. And I just was so moved by her story that she told specifically last year at the women's business event, and about how she changed literally her entire life from where she was career wise and just in life wise as well. And is doing something a little unconventional in our traditional business world.
In
So I'm really
consultancy world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am really excited to hear more about Whitney and her story and what thing at Glowe is doing. So welcome. We're really happy to have you
Welcome,
today.
Whitney.
Thank you. I'm so
Yay.
excited to be here. Yeah.
Yay.
I can't believe we've known each other kind of for so long, but not really.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
we're kind of getting closer and closer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
nice.
awesome.
It's
Yay.
really nice. So
All right, well, so tell us about Glowe first. Let's start
Okay.
there. Do you think that's the right place to start, or do we want to start
where
with
do
the
you
story?
want to start, Whitney?
Where do you
Because
want to
it's
start,
kind-
Whitney?
Oh my
Because
goodness.
you've had such a progression over time from
Yeah.
what you started doing to where you are
Yeah.
today.
It's usually better, I think, to start at the
Start at the beginning?
Yeah.
Let's go.
because it kind of tells the whole story.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do this.
So
Everybody buckle up,
yes,
sit back,
exactly,
grab your
exactly.
coffee.
Yeah, parallel paths here.
Yep, let's do this.
So when I started into my career, I'm not from St. Louis, by the way, moved here after college, but started my career in public accounting, which if you know me, you would say, oh my gosh, what? Accounting?
Right.
Not at all what I thought. And that was how I had always felt. But my dad was like, you'll always have a job if you're an accountant. And because the world will always need accountants, which I guess we could debate today. But and so I just kind of stumbled into this very, corporate-y, financial, very numbers focused world. And it took me like 2 weeks, literally, where I was like, I can't live
Yeah.
like this for the rest of my life. So ended up going into my partner's office and saying, is there anything do people I can do? And he's like, there's this small division in our tax department called Personal Financial Planning Group, and it's 300 people, whatever. And I was like, great, sounds interesting. If it involves
Sign me
people,
up.
I'm
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
like I get to talk to humans, great.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got to learn a lot about that. I didn't know anything about wealth management and
Mhm.
trusts and all that kind of stuff, but it was fine. But what I learned early on is that I would be talking about the numbers. We'd get done with the numbers, and whoever I was talking to would be like, so can we talk about how do I talk to my wife about money? How do I talk to my kids about money?
Oh, I love that.
Like all the soft
right,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And at first I was like, why are you asking me? I'm like, what do I know?
Right.
I'm 27 years old sitting here, like going through your financials, but what do I know? But I was the only woman. I guess it was like presumed that I would have this knowledge.
Right.
Well, long story short, that's what kind of launched me into this whole, why are people not blending this soft stuff and really helping families think differently? Just the wealth and their kids and their money and the communication and all this stuff. And I stumbled upon this study that was like 90% of ultra high net worth families will fall apart relationally within 3 generations. And it had nothing to do with the financial.
Wow.
5% of the reason was financial, 95 was the soft stuff, trust, communication,
Wow.
and purpose and,
Wow.
and preparation. And so I was like, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
Why are we not focused on the 95 of this problem?
Right.
So I spent I spent basically 25 years balancing that hard and soft. And for the most part, I was in big corporate America,
Mhm.
doing all the things on the hamster wheel, checking all the
Right.
boxes on all the boards, doing all the stuff. But it wasn't quite right. And so I ended up getting out of corporate America, going and building it kind of independently with some other people, built an amazing firm. It was awesome. Well, about the same time that I was kind of starting to have this awareness, like, great, okay, I'm finally doing what I want to be doing, but I don't feel like this is right.
Mhm.
And I had 2 people, I think this is the part that I talked about last year in that talk, was I had 3 people within a 2-week period ask me for coffee or lunch, and they all had the same conversation with me. The first person was someone that was fairly new to my world, but I really admired him and I thought he was really cool and really smart. And I was like, oh my gosh, what does he want to have lunch with me about? And he wanted to have lunch with me to say, Whitney, I'm really concerned about you. We had just had a few dinners with, it was my husband. I was married at the time. And he was like, I just feel like you're so smart and you've got everything together. He's like, but I'm really concerned about you personally. Like the way that your husband treats you, like, I don't really understand. And like, are you okay? Are you safe?
Interesting.
And I, because I was all buttoned up and like thought tail, I was like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I got this.
I'm totally fine.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, he just was drinking or this and that, whatever. And then someone else asked me to go to coffee that I'd known for longer and had spent more time and kind of the same theme. And I was like, wow, what? And I was like, what am I missing? And then you start to kind of, at least for me, I started to kind of say, okay, wait a minute. 2 people within a week. That's kind of weird. What am I missing? Whatever. Then third one. And I was like, whoa, okay. I barely know this person. And the same message came through.
Wow.
And I was like, I guess I need to really examine my life.
Yeah.
Because even though I was checking all the boxes, like all the titles, all the boards, all the fun stuff, I had 3 kids, I had the big house, I had the lake house, like I had all this stuff. But what I realized after I started processing was, oh my gosh, I don't really smile anymore. I don't have a lot of joy. Like I'm on the hamster wheel 20 hours a day and this is what I'm doing. And it was to avoid
what was going on in your
what
personal.
was going on. And so I had this huge, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about this?
Oh my goodness.
So that was like the first, I guess, domino to fall that I would say. Is like, and I talk about having kind of 3 divorces in my life. That made me reflect on my relationship with my dad being bipolar and like kind of having this emotional abuse kind of growing up and all that kind of stuff. And then having this realization in therapy, I was like, I went to talk to my now ex-husband and I was like, listen, I think there's some issues here. I think we need to get some help. Went to the therapist one time. It was terrible. I ended up like spilling my guts. This is how I'm feeling. I don't want to be this way, whatever. And he was like, well, give me a list of things, maybe 5, and then we'll do it. Like, do you want a new light fixture?
Oh, geez.
Oh, no.
And I was like, do you not listen to everything that I was saying? So, anyway, so I was like, so with the second time we went, she pulled me aside. She cut it short. She pulled me aside and she was like, so you need some help. Here's a specialist that works with abusive marriages. I don't think there's any more reason.
She saw it right away.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she was, and that's where it was like,
wow.
But it was this weird moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so smart, but am I that dumb?
Well,
No.
when you're in it, right?
But yes,
you can't see it.
Just get going in it. And so,
well, and you probably were in survival mode. You probably attracted what you knew.
Gosh,
you attracted what
nervous
you knew,
system
and
knows chaos.
Yes,
ladies. My nervous system is like, if you're not in chaos and in survival mode, then we don't know you.
Right.
Which is so terrible.
That's not something that you recognize easily.
No.
And that's
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm sorry,
feel
keep going.
really grateful that those people held up the mirrors. I talk a lot about mirrors. Because it's one thing for someone to hold up the mirror. It's a totally other thing for you to actually look and then also do something about it. Totally different things.
Totally. Well, especially not to interrupt, but you had 3 kids at the time. It's not like that you were. It's not like it was just the 2 of you, and you could just be like, "See ya."
Yeah,
like,
and there's a life there.
Totally.
All right, keep going. I'm in this. I am with you.
So that kind of started the dominoes, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, wow, I really don't know who I am then." Obviously, right? Because if I'm,
how old were you when you got married?
I was 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Still,
still a baby.
Yeah, baby.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, but I think also I think being on the hamster wheel and doing all the things that you should go to college, you should graduate and get a job, you should
get married.
keep going,
Uh-huh.
you should get married, then you should, it's just like it's so hard to stop.
Yeah.
Once you're on it, it's really hard to stop.
Right.
And so we separated. I got the kids to, we got someplace safe and we got kind of in this program. And I was like, okay, single mom, I had always been the breadwinner. So that was not a new thing. And what? Okay. But all of this aside, now we're kind of settled into this new world of being a single mom of 3. And my first best decision was to get an au pair. I needed a partner.
Yes.
mean, raising,
Yes.
working full time and
Mhm.
being career driven and everything. And then thinking about all that. Woof. And plus I needed this support too. And so that was great. So as I started to explore, and I would say my path was not linear to this whole like self-exploration, who am I, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It was very ad hoc. Like I would get comfortable with myself in a certain situation. And then I'd be like, okay, what else can I learn about myself?
Yeah.
And it was a little bit like start, stop.
Yeah.
And at the same time, as I'm building finally my dream company, right? Like I'm finally getting to build this incredible company, corporate America, and do what I've been wanting to do. And it's great. And then I have another reality. I'm like, oh my gosh, my business partner resembles my ex-husband
Oh no.
in so many ways.
Oh no.
Different, but similar.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I
Whoa.
really know how to pick
Yeah.
up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so smart.
Your energy was
Oh,
bringing
man.
them in, girl.
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly. You attract what you
Yeah.
need, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in the universe
the
delivers.
chaos.
Oh man. So as I was, and I'm getting to the Glowe point because this is all really relevant, but I got to like 2019 and I was like, okay, the company was in great shape. We were getting lots of recognition and awards nationally and all this stuff. And I was also kind of finding myself in this, but somehow it's not fulfilling to me anymore. Like what's really going on? And it was the interpersonal and all with my partner, and that's fine. So I was like, okay, at the same time, I was giving a talk about generational differences.
Mhm.
And at that time, a lot of people were like, those millennials, they don't know how to work. I don't know what business is just going to go to shit because millennials and Gen Zs don't know how to work. And I was like, what? I'm like, this can't be right. And also, they're going to be the largest portion of our workforce.
Yeah.
So we better figure it out.
Right.
Like
100%.
we can't just ignore it
Yeah.
and force them into this old system.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way,
so-
we've got 3 of them in the room
Yeah,
right now
exactly.
who are the most reliable
Yeah.
and
Oh
awesome
my God.
Yeah.
support
So much
system.
talent.
Uh-huh.
So much
Talent.
talent. It's insane.
Yeah.
And so I was doing this talk and preparing for this, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many shifts, is what I call them, shifts happening. Yes, the astrological shift, which we can totally talk about. But also, if you've read The Fourth Turning or The Turning is Now, I can't remember, Neil Howe's second book, which is recent. And they talk about how just we go through cycles in history, go all the way back.
Yeah.
We go through cycles. This is just very normal stuff. And it talked about how we were entering this cycle where large institutions, large ideologies and everything are breaking down. And I was like, yep, that's happening.
Yeah.
And then you
sure.
combine. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So and we also at the same time, lots of people like me were doing a similar thing. Like, what is my purpose? What do I want? I mean, thank God the millennials and Gen Zs started it because they were like, wait a minute, I don't think this is right. I don't want to be the first in, last out, and challenging those things and saying, I want to have a life, not work-life balance. I want to have a life.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, wait, so we have the rise of that mindset, that perspective. And then we have a massive generational shift. The boomers are retiring. The businesses are being transferred. Multi-trillion-dollar businesses being transferred. All this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, the system of business, if we don't change the system, it won't matter how much healing, how much mental health, how much physical health, better, or being better at those things.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you go back into a toxic system where it creates the toxicity that you're trying
the
to
cycles.
avoid.
The cycles don't stop. Right.
Yeah.
And so this word glow just kept coming up, and it was always glow with an E. And I was kind of like, all right, I'll trust the process. I have no idea what this was. And at that time, I would have told you I was woo curious, but I wasn't totally woo. Like I wasn't like I am today. And so I kept writing this word down. And it was like the E is energy. Everything is energy. And we have been blocking energy. We have been stalling energy. We've been shrinking everybody down into this conformed vessel, basically.
Right.
And also we have the worst mental health crisis we've ever had, the worst physical health crisis. I mean, thank goodness we have the new nutrition guidance, but like we have to change these things.
Yes.
So all the yoga and the breath work and the healing and the medicine drink, like whatever it is your flavor of healing is, it's not going to matter if we don't change the system. And so I had this awareness like, oh my gosh, we need to help the people, but also the businesses glow. Like there has to be the connection. And when I started kind of talking to people about this, they're like, oh, so you want to be a consultant? And I'm like, ooh, that just like makes my, just
because you immediately
cringe.
go back to like the big six and you're like, oh, no, do I have to do the Six Sigma and all that stuff? No,
100%.
No.
And I was like, ooh, that is really
that sounds
ick. It's giving me
terrible.
the ick, I guess my kids would say. And I'm like, that's not it. And so I was like, okay, but if it's not that, then what is it?
Right.
And it's taken us a while to kind of get to this place where we can now talk about it, but it's a couple of things. The first thing is, and this is what I sent y'all yesterday, is now we can say with confidence, we are re-ensoling the business. Because if you think about it, like a lot of businesses talk about their growth, their profitability, and that's awesome. But if you lead with that, it's pretty shallow. Like it's pretty hard to have someone be excited about working for a company that is just all about growth and numbers. Like what's the connection?
Right.
And so, and I think a lot of businesses, just given the cycles, and again, it totally makes sense. And there's no shame in the game here, but like we're just entering a new cycle. And so we have to figure out what is the real soul of our business. It doesn't matter what you're selling, what good or service. You can still have a soul. It doesn't matter what it is. And so that re-ensoulment, I think, is something that a lot of leaders are like, yes, I've never been able to name it. Right. But like something feels kind of off and something feels kind of wrong. And we're trying to kind of play whack-a-mole. Like we're trying to be like, okay, okay,
it's
everybody
our training.
Wants to work from
it's
home.
Our system. Yeah.
And so we're gonna, we're gonna go work from home. And then it's like, no, we're not gonna go work from home. We're gonna come back, but we're only gonna come back 2 days or whatever. And so everybody's like, you know, moving around so fast. And so from a unconsultancy, what we call it, it's like, okay, so we got to help the leader do 3 things. Number 1 is we got to help them re-ensoul the business and figure out what's broken in the system and what needs to change. That's it.
Easy.
Pretty simple to come up with, right? But then I never wanted to be that person, like traditional consultants who are like, okay, I'm going to come in, I'm going to diagnose, I'm going to give you a great PowerPoint and good luck.
Bye.
Yeah.
I hope you do great. And maybe I'll check in with you once a quarter.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And all these executives look at you like, I'm already drowning.
Yeah.
I have so much to do. When am I going to learn to do these new things? Or when am I going to have time to think creatively?
Or do your workbook. I have no time to do your workbook.
Totally.
Like, just tell me what to do.
Yes. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And so that whole compassion for the executives with this like blank stare was the impetus for me to be like, okay, that's why I don't want to be a consultant. I want to help them identify. And then we want to kind of hold that container that we're trying to help them work in. And how do we help people? Like originally I came up with this idea of like chief synergy officer. We're like synergizing the pieces and the parts, right? There's a lot of smart people in this business. I'm not trying to take anybody's job.
Right.
My role is to just help the energy flow a lot better, right?
Yeah.
And come up with those new systems, more normalized, all that stuff. But then the other part of it is, I think the individuals don't have the right tools and the training to regulate themselves.
Right.
Like we were talking about with the nervous system regulation. Mine was so out of whack for so long, but that was what I thought was normal.
Right.
That's what I thought and a
Right.
lot of people live in that. It wasn't just me.
Mhm.
But how do we then explain to people there's another way? And if you can focus on yourself and like deeper self-awareness and mastery, and this is where people get a little uncomfortable sometimes, because I'm not talking about just your disc style or your strengths finder. Whatever, I'm
Yeah.
glad you know it,
Yeah.
but that's not going to help you glow as an individual.
Right.
And so we wanted to be able to be there to support people and like help them glow as an
Mhm.
individual. And like, how do we help you tap into your soul and who you are?
Mhm.
And then we can move to the team
Mm-hmm.
and then the system. So it's like 3 parts
Yeah.
Yeah.
all at the same time,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
way.
That's
Well,
amazing.
and that's where that non-linear, it's like it's all happening at the same time. And
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it, though, because if you're looking for an if then,
Yeah.
people will then wait
Yes.
and they sit and go, well, if I did that, then this should happen, but it doesn't always work
Right.
that way.
Right.
So
Right.
We're all human,
Oof.
right? And so we
Yeah.
all have different stuff. We all
Right.
have different
right.
experiences in life. And so business has never really been that place
Mhm.
where
Right.
you can actually
Explore those things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But how much more powerful would your team be if you
could.
knew some of those things and you could just be supportive?
Well, and if you were
Yeah.
all speaking the same language.
Totally.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break and do some station stuff that needs to happen. And then we're going to come back and talk more about that and unpack that just a little bit more and get a little deeper with it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Hot Take Central 2.0
No, it's really getting out of hand, man. It's going way out of control.
with Cam Jansen
I'm going to lead you down the path that rocks.
and Jimmy the Cat Hayes.
You're a legend in the city, living by day instead of night.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hell yeah.
Only on the Lou Information Station. Streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. Hot Take Central 2.0.
This whole situation is getting out of control.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Brown and Crouppen, we get that after an accident, money's tight. That's why we offer so much for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or in the hospital, we'll come to you for free. So call Brown and Crouppen, where we don't get paid. On first consultation is free.
Introducing the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, your new home in the Grand Center Arts District. The Key STL is where the music plays, the game is always on, and the dance floor is open. The Burger Bar features the ultimate smash burger experience with premium pasture-raised local beef and a dozen house-made sauces to top it all off. It's the Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, 3225 Olive in Midtown. Before, during, or after any game, this is the spot, St. Louis. Find out more at thekeystl.com.
louinfo.com news headlines. Brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. 222-2222.
With your louinfo.com news, I'm Jared Sorello. St. Louis officials are working to develop regulations on possible data centers in the city. The Planning and Urban Design Agency says it's looking to maintain a delicate balance that addresses environmental concerns without totally closing the door on data centers. Authorities are identifying a person who was shot and killed in a Starbucks drive-thru. St. Louis police said 28-year-old Sam Linehan was fatally shot Tuesday during an attempted robbery. Linehan was remembered as an accomplished figure skater and beloved coach for the Metro Edge Figure Skating Club. A teen is being charged as an adult for a deadly shooting at a St. Louis grocery store last year. 17-year-old Xavier Ellis is accused of fatally shooting 20-year-old Henry Armstrong inside the Schnucks on Union Boulevard. Your Lou Information Station is streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com. I'm Jared Sorello.
Now, louinfo.com weather. Presented by Home Bank. Member FDIC. Secure your financial future by opening a high-yield checking account today. Go to myhomebank.bank to get started.
Here's your louinfo.com weather update. We'll have a mix of sunshine and clouds today. We're headed for the low 50s, mid 30s, and some clouds for the overnight hours. A little warmer on Friday, upper 50s, and lots of sunshine. Big storm system moving in on Saturday. We'll get some rain, and then back to sunny weather on Sunday. Highs over the weekend in the 50s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton for the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com and the free Lou Info app.
All right, Cam, be honest. New Year's resolution still holding strong?
Not so much, Kat, but I did decide on one thing that I'm sticking with, making home life better in 2026.
And that's a good one. And if better includes more fun, more time outside, and less stress, then you need to talk to Merrimack Pools and Outdoors.
Absolutely. They build backyard escapes, pools, patios, outdoor kitchens, the kind of place everyone actually wants to hang out.
And now's the perfect time to plan. Don't wait until summer hits. Start now, get it designed right, and be ready when the warm weather shows up.
Merrimack Pools and Outdoors walks you through the whole process, from design to construction, and they do it the right way.
So if your New Year's goal is fewer trips, fewer crowds, and more memories at home, go to SplashSTL.com.
That's SplashSTL.com, and make this year the year your backyard finally wins. That's SplashSTL.com.
Yo, I got a key to the front door, badge to the back, 100 little problems and they all attack. I'm the boss, the backup plan B, C, and D. If it breaks, guess what? Who's fixing it? Me? I'm the meeting, the marketing, the late night grind. The day we pay that bill, panic on my mind. Yeah, I started this dream with a big old plan. Now I'm the whole department in the one-man band. CEO doesn't mean chief everything officer.
Delegate like a boss, because you are one.
Contact Morgan Pinnacle Group to learn more.
St. Louis sports fans, now you can go deeper with STL Sports Central Insiders. Get exclusive access to Bernie Miklasz, Randy Carricker, Mike Claiborne, Jamal Mayers, and more. Plus, your chance to watch a Blues game in the alumni box with Jamal himself. Also, monthly giveaways, Bernie's columns all week, and you'll be supporting local sports media. Join now at stlsportscentral.com.
Back to more of Co-Found Hers with Lisa Lidbag and Angela Sandler on the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Okay, we're back. I have a couple housekeeping items just really quick before we go. This is the Lou Information Station, found at louinfo.com. You will be able to find this podcast later on all the typical suspects, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. If you really love us, follow us on Instagram at the Co-Found Hers. Remy's been correcting me. Every week I keep just calling it Co-Found Hers. Our actual handle is the Co-Found Hers, but you can find us on Instagram. So come follow us. We also have a text line for those of you that are listening live, 314-590-3770. Remember, we only answer the text while we're live. Mom, text me on my personal line if you need an answer. Okay, we're back with Whitney Hunter talking about all the things that make a business glow. You like the way I did that?
I love that. Great.
So Whitney's really kind of tipping the cup on consultancy and what that looks like, and really kind of taking on the stereotypical business, and have really kind of developed this whole plan that is around really being better individually so that we can be better as a team, right?
Right.
Am I summarizing that
You
correctly?
Did it perfectly.
Okay.
Did it perfectly.
Amazing, amazing. So we just kind of wound up. She did such a great buildup of talking about the three things that they really focus on at Glowe, which is the energy. The E in Glowe is energy,
Yes.
right? So
it's not a misspelling.
It is purposeful. So we are re-ensoling the business. We are helping individuals in their own dimensions. And then we're bringing it all together and really figuring out a plan of how to move that business forward.
Yep.
See,
got it.
I
There you
listen.
go.
I listen
A+.
real good. Thank you. Thank you. Well, so we know that that's not the only thing. Go ahead, Angela.
Oh,
You had a
no, I was
question.
just going to say, in talking about the E at the end of Glowe, can you kind of talk a little bit more about what that energy is, or where you find energy? Because I know that you had mentioned earlier about being a little woo.
Yes.
And what does woo mean to you?
Well, so when I kind of started my own personal journey, I guess, I would say that I looked for a lot of different ways to gather data about myself. And some of them, I would say, fell more in the woo camp. And I'm a huge fan of, if you're on a path of personal growth and personal transformation, what's the harm? Go find out more from these other, I guess, systems
Ideas,
or whatever.
right,
Who knows?
right, Yeah. right.
And so I had a good friend who was kind of nerding out on different systems of, different types of astrology and numerology and Kabbalah and like all these different things. And she had this thesis, like, I wonder if I put my information in all these different systems and did like a mashup, how it would look, like how would it feel for me? Would it be accurate? Would it be like kind of off base? I don't know. And so she did it for herself. She did it for a few other people in her family. And she was telling me about it. I was like, well, I would love to see. I don't know anything about those systems. Like, tell me.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, because I still have a crumpled up version of it with lots of markings all over it. And I read it several times a year. It is fascinating how accurate it was. And I would say, if I compared it to the way I was living, to the way that I felt was more me in my body, it was like, oh my gosh, I've always kind of felt this way, but like, it's not really the way that I've been acting or the ways that I've been living. And so it was very much an eye-opening experience. Like, oh, okay. So all these like little voices or little things that I've been feeling, maybe they were accurate, trying to tell me something, and I just wasn't listening.
Yes.
And so I think that, and I was also kind of putting my toe into yoga at the time. I was spending a lot of time in Denver, and I would go to a lot of instructors there that I would be like, I'm here to work out. Like, I would be the first person to leave for Shavasana. Like, who needs to lay here? This is crazy. But I had so many, I would say, yoga practitioners or yoga teachers that they were much more into taking the yoga off the mat and the teachings of yoga while they were kicking our ass, but also like translating it. I guess that was the thing. It was translating it into off the mat. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, this is kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
Had no idea. So that and then that kind of awareness got me curious, and I kept going down some rabbit holes, and I got introduced to someone who was like an energy healer, and come to find out was also a shaman and all these things. But that's not why I went to her. It was like, oh, she's really cool. She'll help you understand energy. And I remember sitting in my first session with her like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm so confused. And it seemed so bizarre. She was like, well, do you feel your energy? Like, did you do this? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't understand what you're talking about. So the whole energy thing kind of started for me with her. And that's where like different modalities of like cacao ceremonies. And I did an incredible like hypnotherapy session, and I did several like past life regressions and different things like that. And again, it was all like, I'm so curious. Like, I have no idea about any of this stuff. And there was a time when I was like, I don't know if I believe this stuff, to then I was like, how do I not believe this
and
stuff?
how does not everybody else believe in this stuff? Yeah.
Right. And the more that I learned about myself and like this life, past lives, all this stuff, there were so many things that I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Now I wish I would have known this, not in my late 40s, but in my early 30s.
But you wouldn't have listened.
No,
you wouldn't have listened.
Right.
We had too much noise.
Too much noise. So for me, the energy has always been about, really connecting back to myself, shedding a lot of layers.
Yeah.
Because I think over the first 20 years of my adulthood, it was like so many shoulds and so many like different programming that I really didn't believe, but I put those masks on, or I put those layers on, or that armor on, because I was trying to protect myself, whatever it was. And so it's been a process of like shedding so that I can really truly stand in who I am and who I want to be. And I think that's the joy when we are working with leaders and we can kind of get to core with them and say, it's okay. You are who you are, and you're
Right.
amazing.
Right.
You're whole, capable, and amazing just
Right.
as you are.
Right.
And so how can we bring more of that out? And you have roles to play, by the
Right.
way. So like we want to embrace the fact that we can take off some of the layers, help you understand yourself. I'm all for whatever healing they're into. Like I'll go
Right.
there with them.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right.
And whatever it is in pursuit of helping them glow. But then also that has a impact. I talk about the best contagion effect ever is when people start to do this work and they start shedding and they start glowing. And then all of a sudden people are like, what, did you change your hair? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with our physical appearance. It's just our energy. We show up differently. And so as leaders, and I think especially today, in today's environment, there's just so much change happening. Everything is so fast. I just wrote about this yesterday. Like leaders used to be able to play a long game. Now they're playing, they think they're playing a long game, but they're playing a hell of a lot of short games.
100%.
And I don't even think they realize that game has changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
There's so much pressure, so much. So for them to know things, like I love when our coaches will talk to them about nervous system regulation, and we'll start a practice of them. And a lot of times, people are like, I don't know why you're doing this with me. Can't you just tell me what to do or tell me what's wrong with me? And like, let me get better in coaching. And we're like, no, but that nervous system regulation is really, really important. And we're not taught that.
Yes.
Like really, I think it would have helped when
you were a child.
Yes.
Yes.
And even when I was a parent of young children, if I would have had more understanding of these things, it would have been so much nicer. But that's okay. We'll learn it now.
Yeah.
So the nervous system regulation does shift your energy because when I talk about it, it's like, think about if you're super stressed, you have a lot of fear, you have a lot of doubt, you have a lot of anxiety, you have so many demands on you, your nervous system is dysregulated, and people are coming to you all the time to do what? Make decisions.
Yes.
Right.
And all you want to do is scream at them and say, leave me alone.
Right.
I
need a
cannot
minute.
make
Yeah.
another decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so either you delay and then you say, oh, can you get me more information?
Yeah.
I don't like, you put a lot
The
of
procrastination.
totally.
Oh, girl.
And instead it's like, well, wait, is this a me problem? Should I work on my regulation and like get to a better place? Because when you can, you do see the problems very differently.
Right.
In a dysregulated, like frenetic state or versus a calm, cool and collected, regulated state, you just see the world differently.
Yeah.
There's no way
Yeah.
you couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so I think that is part of the energy. I mean, there's so many things about
Yeah.
the energy, but I think that if we can just help people understand that part,
Right.
would be so huge. And then of course, I love when they are really interested in getting to know themselves at a deeper level. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, okay,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we're
We-
making
we're
progress.
here.
It's so
Right.
awesome.
No,
You
but that's-
joined me.
Yes.
But that's so awesome. And I hate that woo has a negative
Yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I was
because
just going to say that.
it's so core and innate in so many ways that it isn't different. It's
No.
just something that people haven't explored as much as they could, and they probably should.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
also the language. So when you go into mystic teaching and yoga and all that stuff, there's a language that is spoken amongst practitioners that scares people that are not familiar with it.
Mhm.
And it makes them feel like, whoa, no, that's so not me. But I think what you're doing is kind of bringing that to them on a level that they understand and saying, you know what, this is about your nervous system. It's about the way you're
Right.
showing up. It's about the way you're reacting to things that are happening in your company.
Yeah.
That is your nervous system. Guess what? Your nervous system is your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's like normalize these words that they're not so mystifying, where people are like, oh, energy? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by energy? I mean, your nervous system, the way you show up, the way people greet you. I mean, the way that you come across is you're going to see it in the way that people greet you. They're either
Totally.
going to shy away from you and avoid you, or they're going to come give you a big fat hug.
Yep.
So let's figure out what you want to be.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we've all purchased goods or services from people when you know it's a good experience.
Mhm.
Like whether it's somebody in a shop, somebody at the grocery store, somebody that's
Yes.
serving you at a restaurant, if they're genuinely happy and friendly and open with you, you have such a better experience.
100%.
100%.
And you're going to talk about their product. You're going to talk
Right.
about and
So
by the
it's
way,
good for business.
on the reverse of that, how many times have you guys had a bad experience with a person, a business owner? I have one that I can think of immediately that I had such a terrible experience with that person. And I love their place. I love what they do. And I'm like, I will never use
Yeah,
you. I
I
will
know.
never go
Yeah.
there because you are such a pill
Yeah.
and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's where I think it starts at the top. And
Yeah,
that's why
100%.
a lot of people will say to us, well, can you just, come help my team? Like,
Mhm.
one department or
Yeah.
whatever. And we're like, it's really hard. Like, we have done it. And and then what happens is the other departments get a little jealous.
Yes.
Because this department seems to be doing something different. They seem happier or whatever. But then, I don't feel like we will be able to have the impact if we don't get to the CEO. And I
Yeah.
actually feel like that the leaders of today that are like, I'm not sure that I can name what I want the future state to be,
Mhm.
but it'd be nice for me to talk to someone who can help me figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think and I've been telling people the last couple of years, they're like, well, what do you need? Do you need new clients? Do you need this? And I'm like, I just want people to know there's an option.
Mhm.
We are not a lot of consultant. Like, we're not a traditional consultancy. And if you want that, great. There's
Yeah.
plenty of options, and
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Mhm.
But if you're kind of in your head, like, I think something's off. I think I need to do something
Mhm.
differently. I want to do something differently. I want to lead different. I want to leave a different legacy, whatever your
Right.
things are that are rumbling around in your head, then there's an option.
Yeah.
And that's all we want to be known for, is like, we're just an option and we're not for everybody, and we get that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Well, but no consultancy. I mean, it's not a one
Yeah.
size fits all, because really, truly, again, you go back to the leader and it has to resonate with the leader. And if it
Yes.
doesn't resonate with the leader, it's not going to trickle down to anybody else, because
Mhm.
it starts there.
Yes.
It doesn't start from the bottom,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
It has to start from the top.
Yes. And a lot of people, when we start to kind of explain, like, usually we're around for, 18 to 24 months, because the work that we do takes time, because we're talking about human behavior change.
Correct.
Right.
Really,
Right.
it's human behavior
Right.
change. And we all know, like, you're not going to go to the gym one time and get
Right.
6-pack abs,
No.
right? So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
there's a process
Right.
to
Sure.
the whole thing. And originally, a lot of leaders were like, what?
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to help me get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Like, why would you be here 18 to 24 months? I'm like, well, it's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Because you think this is the problem, and it's probably a combination of that and a bunch of other things.
Mhm.
Sure.
So if you really want to fix it, like,
Yeah.
if you want to get to the root and then
And
have
not
the
just-
problem solved,
Right. And not just a Band-Aid.
not a Band-Aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And a lot of people, because of all these short games, like, they're investors,
Yeah.
they're people, they have to return really fast.
Mhm.
They don't have I don't want to say they don't have the courage. They want to. It's just, they have so many conflicting pressures
Right.
on them
Mhm.
that I guess makes it harder for them to want to do this kind of full
Mhm.
transformation.
Mhm.
But I will say, more and more leaders are like, yeah, we just can't exist like this
Yeah.
anymore. We have
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's good.
And there are demands on culture changes. I mean,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
that there's
yeah.
so much, and again, that does come from the bottom, which is wonderful, because we
Mhm.
are seeing, we talk about this, I think, almost every week. We are seeing some of these young people come in and demand that culture changes.
Yes.
You want this talent in your company, then you have to change.
Right.
I cannot show up and be worried that you're going to scream at me because I'm 2 minutes late.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
There are just
different.
certain things that are no longer acceptable.
Yeah.
And I would say it has not been a light switch, and there are still people that think they can operate that way. And, hopefully that'll, but it's going to take a lot of people to recognize. I mean, it's back to the mirrors, right? Like, is this
Right.
really who I
Yeah.
want to be? I have talked to several leaders that will say things like, but when I was coming up, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I hear you.
Yes.
And it's different now.
Yeah.
Right.
It just is.
Yeah.
And so we can either continue to fight and have that friction and have that frustration, which doesn't do anybody any good,
Mhm.
or we can find a new solution.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the choices.
Yeah.
And so the people who like the continued friction, maybe
Yeah.
that's their nervous system is
Yeah.
used to it and that's what they want to do, or the people who are like, Well, what else?
Yeah.
What else could there be?
Right. Well, and I think that and I'll close on this so that we can get to rapid fire, but I think it's all about sustainability. And we talk about this personally all the time. Like, this is just not sustainable. And that type of community and culture is not sustainable, where people are showing up all out of their minds.
We can't.
Yeah.
So we've got about 2 minutes left, and we love doing a rapid fire. But before we do that, I want to tell people where to find you.
Great. So our website is Glowe Connective, Glowe with an E, Connective, not collective. We are also on LinkedIn, and we have a Substack where I do a writing every week.
Amazing.
That's really short and sweet, but just to inspire you to glow.
Fantastic.
And it'll come to your inbox.
Yes,
Yeah,
it will come to your Yes, that's right.
And it's going to be on our social media, which, by the way, if you're not on our social media, you need to be on. We're giving away a really amazing gift today from Lux and Nix, who was our guest last week. You need to do this. Get on there. Follow us. Okay, rapid fire. We got a minute left, guys. Let's go.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
I like that. Favorite book that you've read lately?
Oh, there's so many. I think it's called The Best Friends. Amazing.
Oh, fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Biggest guilty pleasure?
It's always a hard one.
I think it's really doing nothing.
Love that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, that was gonna be my next question was stay in or go out?
Oh, mostly stay in.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
That's awesome.
Favorite way to decompress?
Wild idling. It's something that my current shaman has taught me. And because I'm not the person that can sit in meditation and quiet, my brain doesn't work that way. And so you just sit and stare in nature, and you just let your brain do whatever your brain will do, and it cleans out your brain.
I love that.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. I just started following somebody who does that.
That's
very-
amazing.
So cool.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm down that path. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, guys.
Okay.
I think that's it. That we have all the time we have. Gosh, I am tongue
went
tied
so
today.
fast.
It did go so fast.
I know.
Loved our conversation. Thank you
too.
for
Thank
being here,
you.
Whitney. We really appreciate you and all that you're doing. And for all of you listening, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.